Welcome back to Kentucky Sports Television as we continue to prepare for Kentucky's football season that begins on Saturday. We now welcome in TJ Walker from Cats Illustrated, who joins us to break down the season and look ahead. TJ, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I guess we will start the million-dollar question, of course, has been talked about all summer, all spring, fall long, is the quarterback situation. It looks like they may play two quarterbacks, though Mark Stoops says if one does well, he'll stay in. What do you make of the battle between Jalen Whitlow and Max Smith?
It seems like they are really torn, but you were at the Monday luncheon just like I was. It seems like Jalen Whitlow is going to start, right? Aren't you getting that feeling from them?
It seems like that's who they want to start the game, and they're even leaving it open that they want him to continue to play and stay in the game, but maybe isn't quite there yet. Do you think that letting it go to the game, is that the right decision? I mean, not the right decision, but are comfortable? Does it concern you at all that they're still trying to figure it out?
Sure. You're going into week one and you're not set on a quarterback, the most important position on the field. You don't have one that you feel more confident, or you so confident enough that you can name him the starter. But I think I know what they're doing here. I think they like what they've seen from Whitlow. Maxwell Smith definitely isn't, falling out of the race. He's doing enough to stay in the conversation. And I think they're kind of covering themselves a little bit. They're going to put Whitlow out there. If he does well, if he makes some good throws, then they're going to keep him in there, and until the game's over. But say something goes wrong and Whitlow can't handle the pressure, or Western's defense is doing something to stop him. Then they could say, like they've been saying all along, hey, we're going to play another quarterback. Now it's time for Smith to go in there. It won't show as much panic if they have to go to a second quarterback, because they've said all along that they plan on playing two. So I think that's kind of what they're doing in that situation. But, of course, the guy they put out there under center to start Saturday's game, they're going to want to see him stay in the whole game, because why wouldn't you? If he's doing things well, he's going to stay in.
What does this mean for Patrick Towles? I know last year he had some time to start a quarterback and got a few snaps. Does this pretty much, do you believe this ends maybe his time at Kentucky, or at least his best shot to maybe win that starting job?
It definitely puts him in a tough spot. He said on media day that he doesn't plan on going anywhere, even if this kind of was the worst case scenario where he finishes third in the competition. He said he wasn't going to go anywhere. But yeah, like I said, he's in a difficult position when you've got Barker coming in next season. You've got Smith and Whitlow, who are going to be a year older. They're going to be around for a while, so you don't really see where he fits in. But then again, we saw 2 years ago or 3 years ago where Kentucky had to play a wide receiver at quarterback. So there is always a chance that things could work out. Injuries, Maxwell Smith has been banged up for a while. I think he's going to hang around this year, but it's going to be interesting to see what he does after this season in terms of if he wants to go somewhere else where he can play, or if he thinks he can beat out the competition given another year. But I'm not sure if that's the case.
Now, this game with Western, of course, has a little bit of a revenge factor because Kentucky losing last year. At the press conference on Monday, Mark Stoops talked about what he wants to see from them on Saturday against Western in terms of energy and those sorts of things. When you look at this roster and this matchup, when they come out of this game, what are some things that you really want to see this Kentucky team do in their first game under Mark Stoops?
They have to look like they understand the system first and foremost. Because so much has been made about this new offense and the air raid, and kind of an underrated thing, it's a new defense. Everybody talks about from last season how difficult Rick Minter's defense was and how they couldn't fully grasp it. Well, show in the first possession, the first couple possessions, that you get that you get this new defense, that you understand it, that you're not making huge mistakes that can get you beat deep like we've seen in the past. That's what's most important going into that Western game, is that they have an understanding of the system. Now, it shouldn't probably look perfect, but it should look a lot better, enough where fans can feel confident that they're going to be able to run this throughout the year. And then you want to see, the leaders, the seniors, the older guys stick up. You want to see Avery Williamson be the Avery Williamson that he's been the past couple of years. You want to see Raymond Sanders play with a fire. People kind of forget that he was suspended for that Western Kentucky game last season. He didn't get to play, so he should be pretty motivated to have a big game this Saturday against them. Those are the two things that pop out first that you want to see. And then if those things happen, then I think the rest of the game can kind of go as planned, and Kentucky's going to have a great chance to win.
Along those same lines, sort of, if we project that out for the entire season, you don't even have to put a win total on it if you don't want, but what is success in year one for Mark Stoops? How will that show itself?
be competitive. Cut out those games where they were blown out last season and the past couple seasons. You can't let Vanderbilt beat you 40-0 again. As long as they're competitive, this is, you've been around UK sports long enough to know that UK's fan base can sometimes expect too much and kind of set the bar too high. But I've been pleasantly surprised with their expectations. They realize that this might be a tough season, but what they want to see is the same thing that, I think people covering the team think they should see. It's just some small improvements that maybe this year won't be the year that they go to a bowl game, but enough promise that next year they're going to be, a real threat to make it. I think 5 wins would be a really successful season. Especially if they could have 5 wins going into that Tennessee game, then, can you imagine that atmosphere? I think we'd probably see the gray jerseys for that one. But just be improved. Don't get blown out. Make the games at Commonwealth a little more fun than they've been.
Who are a couple guys, maybe one offense or one defense, or a couple players that you are excited to watch this year, maybe breakout guys or someone you're going to keep an eye on?
Well, as long as JoJo Kemp keeps the knife in his sock that Stu kind of referred to, I'm pretty excited to see him. I was kind of surprised to see him not listed in the 2 deep on the depth chart on Monday, but I do think he's going to get a lot of playing time on Saturday. They're gonna put in running backs and wide receivers often. They're going to do a lot of subs there, so that'll be interesting to watch. And then Javis Blue on offense too, the JUCO wide receiver. I think he's going to have. I think he's super talented. I think he's the most talented wide receiver on the team, and I expect him to have a big impact this season. We'll see. He wasn't here this summer, so we'll see what kind of shape he's in on Saturday, especially with how hot it is. And then on defense, I think I speak for everybody when I say Zadarius Smith. So much has been made of him. He is such an intimidating figure on the field. We'll have to see what kind of trouble he brings Western's quarterbacks in their passing game and also on their rushing attack.
And before we let you go, they got a commitment today, Kentucky did, from Blake Bone. 2-part question. You're a young guy, so one, do you remember the rap group Bone? And second of all, what does he bring to the program?
I don't remember the rap group. Next time I'm with you, you're gonna have to play me some of the songs because I'm not too familiar with them. But I am a huge sucker for big wide receivers, tall wide receivers, and in this air raid, that's usually not a priority. You see a guy like T.B. Williams who is definitely not 6'5", 190 like Blake Bone is. So I think it's a huge get for the Cats. You can put them out wide and perfect for the red zone. Really can keep a defense honest with his running, his route abilities, and great hands for a big guy. It's really going to be the perfect blend for what they've already built around this recruiting class in terms of the other wide receivers, to where, not only will they have to worry about the 5 and 10 yard stuff that you're going to see a lot of this season, but now you've got a deep threat. You got a possession receiver that can come down with anything. A huge get for the Cats.
All right, TJ Walker from CatsIllustrated.com. Thank you so much for the time and great work. People, I encourage you to check out the website.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.